Welcome back to my road to completion guide for Uncharted Drake's Fortune Remastered. This is episode 25. We have some platforming that we need to do here at the beginning of this episode. We're eventually going to make it to a new gun called the MP40. I want you guys to pick that gun up, and then once we head into the combat section, which is in the room after you guys pick up that gun, I'll come back in with some commentary.
Sullivan, come in.
Come in then.
It's no use. I can't get a signal in here. What the hell happened here?
Alright guys, now that you have your MP40 and you're fully stocked up on ammo, we need to make it to our next treasure. It's called the Gold Monkey Figurine. It's going to be treasure 57 of 61. Now in order to make it to the treasure, we have to kill a few more enemies in the hallway. Now they're very simple to kill. All you guys have to do is keep aiming down with the MP40, and as soon as you see them, get some shots on target. If for whatever reason you guys miss, run in the opposite direction, get some distance, turn around, and then get some more shots on target, okay? The trickiest part about this enemy is that they'll flash out from corners, they'll drop in from the ceiling, stuff like that, and if you guys aren't ready for them, they can kill you pretty quick. Now at first glance it seems like these enemies are popping out at random times, but they're actually not. They spawn in based on where you are in the hallway. So as you guys advance, they start to pop in on the map, right? Now the way that you guys can control that is just by walking slow. The last thing you guys want to do is start sprinting through these hallways, because if you sprint through the hallways and let's say two enemies flash out around a corner and you get lucky enough to run past them, and then you keep going, more enemies are going to be spawning in. Now you got enemies on both sides. Does that make sense? So you just want to control these engagements, go nice and slow, and just shoot these enemies as soon as you see them, and you guys will be safe until we make it to the next room.
This has got to be the generator room. Thank God.
Now this is the part of the game where we have to restore the power. Notice the chapter 19, Unwelcome Guest. Throughout this playthrough, I've been telling you guys that we need to farm for certain trophies, right? Getting so many kills with certain guns. Now throughout the playthrough, I've been farming for those, which in most cases has been the slowest method, but I've been telling you guys that once we reach the end of the game, once we complete crushing, you guys are going to be able to pick up those trophies by using chapter select. This is that chapter. This is the chapter you guys want to come back to after we finish crushing and farm all the trophies that you've missed along the way. Now for those of you who are new to this game, you're probably wondering, well, how do I farm all the quote unquote kills trophies in this chapter if I've only got the MP40 and the pistol? It's very simple, guys. All the treasures that we've been collecting so far, all the trophies that we've unlocked, at least most of them, have given us bonuses that we can access once we complete the game. You just go into your options menu, go into the bonus menu. You can do things like weapon select, infinite ammo, one-shot kills, things of that nature. And all you guys have to do is chapter select back to 19, okay? And then run around and kill these enemies. These enemies respawn forever. So all you guys have to do is pick a gun, get all the kills you need, farm for that trophy. As soon as it unlocks, go into your options menu, switch to a different gun, do the same thing, and then you guys can catch up with us in the guide. And I'm actually going to showcase for you guys in the gameplay now how these enemies keep respawning, okay? Notice that I've went down both hallways, I've turned on the power, see the 3 vents and how the enemies just dropped in? They'll keep doing that. As soon as you kill these enemies, 3 more will drop in, and that will continuously happen, guys, until you go through the door over there with the green light over the top of it. As long as you guys don't go through the door, you can continuously farm this checkpoint forever. Now, since we already have the MP40, we're going to go ahead and farm for a trophy called 30 Kills MP40. You guys can see the door off in the distance there. It's just behind the column that's in front of me. As long as you don't go through that door, these enemies will keep popping out. Stay here as long as you need to pop that trophy, and then we'll move on. And there it is, 30 kills with the MP40. Now we can advance. There's going to be a hallway sequence coming up, no enemies, so you guys can run as fast as you want to. I think I go pretty slow in the gameplay just so you guys don't get lost, because it's a little bit of a maze. And then we're going to go into another room. There's going to be a cutscene. As soon as the cutscene is over, we're going to have basically a duplicate combat sequence that we had at the end of episode 24. You guys remember the end of episode 24, we had to run around in a circle and wait for Elena to drop the rope. It's similar in this section coming up, except there's no Elena and no rope. It's just you, but you just have to run around in a circle and kill the enemies. It's kind of a time thing. Once that's over with, you guys will open up a door and then we can advance.
Oh no, not again.
Alright guys, as soon as that cutscene is over, go ahead and aim at the doorway. You guys could even take cover behind the crate if you want to, and just wait for these enemies to push you, just like that. Sometimes both enemies will push you, sometimes there'll only be one, but just make sure that you kill at least one. There's the second one there. Again, sometimes he'll stay kind of in that hallway section on the steps. But just make sure you guys take your time there, kill at least one enemy before you advance. Your goal is to get here, not because you're necessarily going to want to stay here during the fight. You just want to be able to see what's going on. See how I've pushed out past that piece of cover? I'm actually using the top of the stairs to create that piece of cover for me. Remember, it's all about angles. You have the high ground, so you're just using the top of the steps to create an angle. Make sure that you kill 3 guys and then run down the steps a little bit and then back to spawn in the next wave. Now the next wave is pretty simple because they're distracted. So their back's gonna be turned towards you. You guys can go ahead and pick up the kills from there. Now, as soon as you start shooting, they're gonna know that you're here, and they're gonna turn around and start firing at you guys. So make sure that you're quick about this. Kill both of those enemies, then run around and collect ammo, and then you guys can push on. Alright guys, when you get to the bottom of the steps, go ahead and pick up some ammo. You do have to be careful. Sometimes one of those crawling enemies will flash through the crack in the wall. If the enemy doesn't flash through on you guys, then turn the corner and look, and you'll see that he's eating one of the guards, and then back up and wait. Okay, give it a few seconds, and then if he still doesn't flash around the corner, slowly move. You'll see that he flashes around the corner. Just make sure you're ready and get that kill. If you guys remember earlier on in this episode, I talked about how the enemies spawn in based on where you are on the map. So notice we have an enemy here. He sees me, I see him, I'm gonna get this kill, but there's no more enemies to worry about, okay? But you can see crates to the left there, actually to the right of my body. It's on the left-hand side of the screen. If I were to advance right now to those crates, and I don't kill this enemy up top, then I'm gonna have to worry about this enemy and some more enemies that's gonna spawn in as soon as I turn this corner. See what I mean? So you have to be careful as you're moving up in this combat sequence, because you don't want to have enemies firing at you from all different kinds of angles, right? So it's about slowly moving forward, killing whatever wave you see, and then moving on. And notice what I've done here, guys. Climbed up on top of the crate. Why? Because it gives me total advantage against these enemies. These enemies cannot climb and they cannot jump. So the second you get any kind of height advantage on them, it's really easy taking them out. Notice what's happening here. The enemy kills the guard, and then the enemy's going to want to rush around that corner and try to kill you guys. Now sometimes when you turn that corner, the guard is already dead. If that's the case, the enemy's going to already be running at you guys. If you feel threatened, back up to the crates, climb, get your kills there. Remember, you always have advantage play when you have a height difference on these enemies. Now the next combat sequence is going to feel very chaotic, especially if it's your first time playing this game, but it's really not as bad as what it seems, okay? You have plenty of ammo. There's plenty of grenades, okay? You're going to see that here in a second when I kill this enemy. And this is the first thing you want to do, by the way, is make sure that you kill the guard. On the crate that's just in front of the guard there, you're going to have grenades. You got a dragon sniper. And then if you guys see the catwalk, there's grenades up there. I think there's 3 up there. So you have tons of grenades. You've already got 4. I'm going to show you here the other 3. They're to my left. And then so you just want to come in here and thin these enemies out. They're going to be distracted by the crawling enemies, so you have total advantage play here. Just remember, as soon as you start shooting them and stuff, they might know that you're here. So you want to be quick about it, whether you're using your grenades or your gun. Make sure you thin them out, and then you can advance into the next area. Now let me make you guys aware of this, okay? As soon as you go to make your advance into the next area, 1 or 2 things could happen. Number 1, you're successful. No more of the crawling type enemies come out. You assume the piece of cover, start getting your angles, and get your kills on the guards, right? Number 2, a ton of enemies come out. Notice here, I just killed 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and I think even a 5th and a 6th enemy comes out, okay? So sometimes you're going to have to thin these enemies out one more time, but you have grenades. You still got grenades on that crate back there if you didn't pick them up. You still got the dragon sniper, which I would encourage you guys not to use, but obviously in a pinch you may need to pick it up. We're going to be getting that at the end of this combat sequence for a specific reason. Notice we have more grenades up there on the crate where I'm shooting at these enemies, 3 more grenades. So you have plenty in your arsenal to take these enemies out. But notice, once I get to this point, the enemies, the crawling enemies, are still coming out, but all the guards are focused on them. See what I mean? So I get advantage play here. There's only 1 guard. Actually, there's 2 guards now focused on me because I pushed up a little bit more. But if I would have just stayed in that piece of cover back there, they'd have been focused on the crawling type enemies. Once you get this far up in the map, the crawling enemies stop coming out. Then it's just you versus the guards. Notice what I do? Fall back to this position to work more angles. So the dominant play here is to push up into the map to stop the crawling enemies from spawning, because that will waste a lot of you guys' ammo if you get waves and waves of those enemies popping out. Get this angle over here. You guys can take out all these initial guards. Then I want you guys to push to the crates to the left of where I just killed that enemy, okay? Very important that you guys push to those crates, because the enemies that are in the back of the map will not be able to hit you guys. And the laser sight guy that's to the right in that upper section will not be able to kill you guys either. And notice the angles here. And I think there's sometimes will be an enemy that comes out on the left. See how he flashes out? So you have to be careful about that enemy. But there should be 2, maybe 3 more enemies left depending on how it played out in your game. But you want to make sure you kill those enemies before you start to focus on the enemy that's up top with the laser sight. Look at that angle, guys, firing in between the crates. Total advantage play here. Make sure you take those enemies out, and then we'll talk about the enemy up top with the laser sight. All right, I'm pretty sure that I just killed him. Yep, he's dead. So now I'm going to focus on the enemy that's up top. Notice the crate to my left. I'm not pushing out too far here. If you guys push out too far, then this enemy will be able to gun you down, so you have to be careful. If you're not able to get shots on target with the MP40 because of the accuracy, go ahead and switch to your pistol. You can kill this enemy from here. Then I want you guys to move up into the map. We need to pick up a treasure called the Golden Seadragon Pendant. It's going to be treasure 58 of 61, but I want you to go ahead and stand on top of the crates, because as soon as you guys get far enough into the map, notice we have more enemies. But remember, if you guys are standing on top of the crates, you guys have advantage play. And there's your 58th treasure out of 61. Now we have one small combat encounter we need to get through before we can push on to episode 26. I'm going to show you guys where all the ammo is. There's some more grenades if you guys haven't picked them up already. Sometimes they'll be laying on the ground. We have all the enemies that we kill. We can loot their bodies. Now I'm going to show you here in a second where the dragon sniper rifle is. I don't want you guys to pick it up, okay? I'm just showing you where it is. We will pick it up before we leave this episode, but just not now. There's some more grenades if you guys eat them. There's the dragon sniper. And I want you guys to go ahead and advance as soon as you have all the ammo that you need. We have 2 enemies that we need to kill. It's the crawling enemies. And then we're going to come back and grab the dragon sniper. And there's going to be another dragon sniper here on the crates. You guys see it to my right. We're going to pick that one up for just some extra ammo. Here's the 2 enemies. Remember, you guys can back up if you want to stand on top of those crates to get height advantage, or you can just stand and take them out from here. Whatever works better for you guys. After those enemies are dead, run back to the previous room, grab the dragon sniper, and then pick up this dragon sniper for more ammo. And then we're going to move on into episode 26. I'll talk to you guys there. Be good.